So, why do we allow a fast repair? This has been a very lively conversation for a long time in the series, and there's couple answers to that question, right? Some people feel like it diminishes the series, it makes it less realistic, it makes it more arcadish, whatever word you want to use. Some people are really opposed to the use of the fast repair. And then other people feel strongly about having it available to them because we work so hard for 3 weeks between races, and in the lead up to the race we require you to practice, and we require you to qualify, and we require you to put time in, and only to have that ruined early in a race by something that is outside of your control is disappointing. And while that is certainly an aspect of real racing, I've always been a believer that we should take the best things from real racing and simulate them, and we should take the best things that we have available to us from a sim, from a software perspective, and if it can improve upon what real racing does, then do that, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we have kept the fast repair alive for all this time. But another reason, and quite honestly, is that every year we do a member poll. And we ask our members their opinion on various things in our rules, various things about the series, and one of those is always, what do you feel about the fast repair? And typically, 70 or 80% of the people that respond want to keep a single fast repair. Now, I thought one of the best ways to explain this I heard was from Richie Hearn in talking on one of the broadcast interviews about the fast repair, because he was talking to Soup Zahn. And Bill is not a fan of the fast repair, and he was asking Richie about it, and Richie said, well, no, I'm glad we have it because because of all the aforementioned reasons that we said, but also he said it adds to the strategy element. And I think that's totally true, right? So it's something that can enhance the race if you look at it from that perspective, is when do you use it, right? You've got it at your disposal. These aren't sprint races, these aren't quick races. These are 2.5 hour races to 4 hour races. When do you utilize this fast repair? And doing so at the right moment can make or break your race. The other thing is, one of our goals as a series is to crown as champion the best overall driver. Well, I feel like the fast repair sort of provides insurance or insulation to that, meaning, it does eliminate a bit of randomness, and randomness can be cool, but at the same time, you do want to crown the most worthy champion, and so sometimes I feel like this can lend itself to that, right? And it can also mask some issues in the sim itself, right? Some things that, may not have ended a race or ended somebody's car performing at an optimal level in a particular type of car, and allow it to come back strong. Some things just aren't repairable in iRacing that would be repairable in the real world, and so that would be disappointing to not be able to come back from that, right? Or have so much damage that it's just not enjoyable, when darn well that in the real world that would have been fixed to a higher degree. So those are some reasons why the fast repair exists. But I'd like to ask you whether you're for the fast repair or against the fast repair, right? And certainly there's reasonable arguments on both sides of that. If regardless of which side of that you find yourself on, number one, understand that it's part of our series, right? So you want to embrace it, and you probably want to look at it from a strategic perspective. Number two, one of the things that what I call it, I don't call it a fast repair, okay? I call it a spare car. Now I realize that in at least any real world series that I know of, they don't allow you to take a spare car on during the race event, but a lot of times they will allow you to take a spare car after qualifying. Maybe you have a grid penalty, whatever. But this isn't so far removed from reality as to be ridiculous when you consider it to be a spare car. Now, the speed at which you get it in the pits is obviously probably unrealistic, but again, when you look at it as a spare car, then it becomes a little more realistic that, every team in a real race has a spare car in the garage, and this is your way of utilizing it. I think that if you consider it that way, it may take a little bit of the feeling of unrealism away, I hope, anyway, right? And either way, we have it. It's there for the season. We'll ask you mid-season again how you feel about it, if that's something you want to continue with. But those are the reasons why we have it. Hopefully that's acceptable. If not, it's still the way it's going to be, I suppose. Either way, enjoy your spare car. Thanks.